Hello beauties, welcome back to the vlog. This week we are talking about giving ourselves permission to not be perfect, not living in the comparison to everyone else, and just being okay with where we are. You know, when is good enough enough? So I want to share 5 things. There's a lot of different ways that people have talked about perfectionism. One of them is to become aware of your self-dialogue. What are the things that you say to yourself as you prepare to get things done? Are you encouraging to yourself and say, you know what, I can get 3 things done in this next hour and that works? Or do you say, wow, I need to get 10 things done and if I don't do them, I'm a terrible person, right? We definitely do these things to ourselves where we beat ourselves up if we don't get everything done just right in a certain way. And it's really hard to let that go. So what's your self-talk? What do you say to yourself? What's your dialogue? Another one is to practice self-compassion. This is a hard one for me. I really want to hold myself to a standard that is in many ways unattainable. And then when I don't meet my own expectations, having compassion for myself can be really challenging. So this is something for you to consider and perhaps work on for a while, is to have compassion for yourself. Another one is to really examine your goals. And what are your expectations? Are they attainable? Are they laid out in a time period that is reasonable? Do you have the resource, financially, time, people to make it happen? And is it reasonable within the skill set that you have? You know, really think about that and allow yourself to set goals that you can attain in smaller chunks. Things can happen in increments. It doesn't have to all be at once. Another one, and this feeds into this, is breaking these goals down into smaller steps. First things first. What's the first thing that you can do to get to your big goal? What's the second thing, and so on? And really working those through and then breaking those into smaller tasks. Examine your fears of failure. With a professional is what this list says. And that makes me giggle a little bit to think that, you know, we want to seek a professional, but there are many people who can help give us some perspective on our perfectionism and help us see that perhaps how we're viewing things maybe is not the reality, so to speak, right? Sometimes we look through a lens of our expectations and not of what is real and what's now. Or we look at it with perception and we don't ask questions, right? So I think that's a really good one, is to look at your fears of failure and then think through what that looks like and maybe talk about it with a professional. Anyway, we'll talk more about this week. I'll see you tomorrow.